What's a moment that made you think, this isn't what I pictured? I spent 3 years imagining what it would be like to meet my biological father. I pictured tearful embraces, profound conversations about shared interests, and the immediate connection movies promise when long-lost family members reunite. My parents divorced when I was 2. Mom remarried Jonathan when I was 4, and he's been dad ever since. I knew my biological father existed somewhere, but he remained an abstract concept rather than a real person in my life. Mom rarely mentioned him, changing the subject whenever I asked. Last November, during an argument about my curfew, I shouted something about Jonathan not being my real father. The words escaped before I could stop them. Jonathan left the room quietly while Mom stared at me with an expression I'd never seen before. That night, she knocked on my bedroom door with a small wooden box. Inside were letters, photos, and documents, the Matthew Archive, she called it. My biological father hadn't abandoned us as I'd assumed. He'd moved across country for a job opportunity shortly after their separation, keeping sporadic contact through letters and holiday cards until I was about 8. He stopped writing after that, Mom explained. I thought it was better not to push. Among the papers was his last known address in Seattle and an email that might still work. For weeks, I did nothing with this information. Then, during winter break, I drafted an email introducing myself and asking if he'd be open to communication. His response came 3 days later. Sylvia, I can't believe you found me. I've thought about you every day. I'll be in town for business next month. Can we meet? We arranged to meet at the mall during his business trip. I told only my best friend Carla, who helped me pick an outfit and coached me through what to say. We rehearsed different scenarios, from awkward silence to emotional overflow. Just be yourself, she advised. He'll love you because you're you. I arrived 20 minutes early, claiming a table with clear sightlines to all entrances. I'd studied his photos obsessively, but the most recent one was from when I was 7. Would I recognize him? Would he recognize me? A man approached my table, glancing at his phone, then at me. He was shorter than I expected, with thinning hair and glasses different from his photos. He wore a rumpled business suit with a coffee stain on the tie. Matthew settled across from me, immediately checking his watch. I have about 45 minutes before my next meeting. Sorry for the time crunch. This wasn't how I'd imagined our reunion beginning. He ordered coffee while I sipped my smoothie. The conversation moved in fits and starts. He asked about school. I told him about my interest in photography. He mentioned his work in sales without elaboration. When silence fell, he checked his phone repeatedly. Your mother looks well in your Instagram photos, he said. I looked you up after your email. I hadn't considered he could view my social media without my knowledge. The thought made me uneasy. How's Jonathan treating you? He asked suddenly. He's still coaching Little League? The question caught me off guard. Jonathan had never coached anything. It became clear that Matthew knew almost nothing accurate about my life. When I corrected him, he waved dismissively. Well, it's been a while. Hard to keep track. The conversation turned to his life. He had married a woman named Barbara 3 years after leaving. They had 2 children, my half-siblings Dexter and Valerie, ages 10 and 8. He showed me photos of a perfect-looking family in front of a large house with a pool. They don't know about you yet, he admitted. Barbara thinks this meeting is with a potential client. I thought it better to see how things go first. Something cold settled in my stomach. In my imagination, his family would be eagerly waiting to welcome me. Instead, I was a secret errand squeezed between business meetings. Do you have any questions for me? He asked, checking his watch again. About medical history or anything? I had prepared dozens of questions, practiced them with Carla, but sitting across from this stranger who shared my DNA yet knew nothing about me, those questions evaporated. Why did you stop writing? I finally asked. He shifted in his seat. Life got complicated. Barbara was pregnant with Dexter. We were building the house. There never seemed to be a good time to explain everything. Before I could respond, his phone rang. He answered immediately, discussing delivery timelines and quarterly projections while I sat forgotten across the table. When he hung up, he stood abruptly. Listen, I need to run. This client's a big fish. He pulled out his wallet and placed a $50 bill on the table. Get yourself something nice. Maybe we can do dinner next time I'm in town. I stared at the money as he continued. It was great to finally meet you, Samantha. Sylvia, I corrected. Right, sorry. It's been a whirlwind day. He gave me another awkward side hug before walking away, already dialing another number on his phone. I sat alone at the table, staring at the $50 bill. In that moment, everything crystallized. This wasn't the heartfelt reunion I'd imagined. There would be no meaningful relationship, no family integration, no profound connection. Just a man who couldn't remember my name dropping cash on a table like I was a waitress who'd served him coffee.